Welcome back. We are doing Algebra 1, 2.7. I rubbed off the 7 there. It's 2.7. If you're following along in the book, turn to page 108. And we've talked about addition, subtraction, multiplication. So what do you think this is going to be about? That's right, division. Now, couple of things. In algebra, we use the same old division sign we've always used, or the fraction bar. This means 10 divided by 5. Now, I have a requirement for you. You cannot write it like that, 10/5, like people do sometimes, because I know you. Y'all write messy. And before you know it, in a skinny minute, this 10 divided by 5 has turned into 1015, because you'll end up making it a 1, because algebra is complicated, and by the time you get to the end of the problem, you're confused sometimes. So don't want to see any slashes, except unless it's a units. Then if it's miles per hour, you can do miles per hour with a slash, because you won't on accident turn it into a 1. All right, so here is a very important idea in math. There's two super important ideas that have to do with what I say are the 2 rules of what you're not allowed to do in math. Really, there's more. But there's 2 big ones, and this is one. You cannot divide by 0, and this is why. Imagine I had a wonderful cake right here from Honeymoon Bakery in Rome, the best bakery. And it is delicious. It's a carrot cake. And I tell you, divide it into 0 pieces. You can't do it, because even if you didn't cut it at all, there'd be 1 piece. For it to become 0 pieces, you would have to get rid of the atoms that make up the cake. And that violates a law of science. The law of conservation of mass and energy says that matter and energy cannot be destroyed or created ever since creation, which is kind of cool, because it sort of acknowledges that there was creation, a beginning, which is kind of cool. But you can't destroy matter or energy. They can only be changed from one form to another. So this violates the laws of physics. So the answer, if it is 1 divided by 0, is usually you would write no solution, and that is the abbreviation for solution. I want everybody to try it on your calculator right now. You can pause the video, do 1 divided by 0, and see what it says. Won't let you do it. It says error. Okay, so here's another division problem. 10 divided by -2. Well, y'all know how to divide, but if not, try it on your calculator. The answer is 2 goes into 10 5 times, and because I have 1 negative sign, the answer is negative. Just like in multiplication, 2 positives make a positive and a negative make a negative, 2 negatives make a positive. Same rule. So this, -39 divided by 4 1/3, we know that this is going to be a positive answer, because we have 2 negatives. Now, some of you have broken out in a rash at this point. Calm down. I know it's a fraction. We can do it. We're going to work through it together. The first thing we need to do is change this into an improper fraction. I call it a C problem. I draw a C to remind me what to do, and I multiply. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So this is 13/3, and it's -13/3. And I'm multiplying it times -39. Dividing. Now, how you divide by a fraction is you flip it and multiply. Now, where the clap comes from is that old song. Turn up the radio, blast the stereo louder. And the Black Eyed Peas said, and pump it, pump it. But instead I say flip it, flip it. So if we were in class and you needed to flip something and you are staring at me blankly, I would go to remind you that you need to say, oh, we need to flip it. So that's the flip it clap. So to divide a fraction, you flip it and multiply. So this equals -39 times -3/13. There's an understood one under here. 1 times 13 is 13, and 39 times negative 3 is a little less than 120. Let's cheat and look at what the book says it is. They didn't do it all out. They just found their calculator. It equals 9. I'll be like the book and say 9. It's 9. But on your calculator, you would do 39 negative 39 times negative 3 divided by 13, and the answer is positive 9. All right, next idea. What about that ugly thing? Well, it is 1/3 divided by 4. So we could write it out this way. And then we could, because we have, and this is the same thing as 4 over 1, so we're dividing by this. To divide is to flip it and multiply. So we're going to do negative 1/3 times 1 over 4 is negative 1/12. Da-da! Make sure I'm following. Yep. Negative 1/12. I got it. Okay, now what about that one? That's ugly. To do it like I did this way, you would write it out here, divided by negative 3/4. Then you would flip it and multiply. But I want to show you a shortcut that is very handy. I call it the biblical rule of math. Jesus said, the first will be last and the last will be first. And I think if I was a number, to be the last, you would be in the denominator of the denominator. So if you're in the denominator of the denominator, I think you're the last. And Jesus said the last will be first. So there's a rule in math that if you're in the denominator of the denominator, you get to move up to the numerator. So all we have to do is move that 4 up to the numerator. 4 times 1 is 4. We don't have to worry about the 1. And the 3 stays in the denominator, and the answer is negative 4/3. This is really handy on the SAT and those tests. If you see something's in the denominator of the denominator, boop, up it goes to the numerator. More fun with sound effects. Okay, next problem. If you have something like this, where 4 is being divided into all of those, I call this the pirate rule of math. Who gets divided by 4? Everybody. It's like pirates and Tortuga, and somebody got some gold doubloons, and they say rum for everybody. But instead of it being rum for everybody, it is divided by 4 for everybody. Who gets divided by 4? Everybody gets divided by 4. 4 goes, so we're going to do, put it in there, and we can divide out the 32 and the 4. We don't have to worry about the x. That's only with adding and subtracting. Okay, so 4 goes into 32 8 times, so we have 8x, and 4 goes into 8 2 times. We can't do anything else because they don't have the same letters with the same exponents. Okay, this one, they want us to substitute in, so we gotta sing the song, substitute, and we put in negative 2 times negative 2 over negative 2, we can go ahead and say minus 3. You can say plus negative 3 or minus 3. So this is negative 5, and negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. You can write your negative here, here, or there. It doesn't matter. Okay, next one is negative 2 squared minus 4 over negative 3. Negative 2 squared is 4, minus 4 is 0. 0 divided by negative 3 is 0. You can divide things into 0, you just can't divide by 0. Okay, so this one is that situation, I think. Negative 2 divided by 3 minus 3 is negative 2 divided by 0. No solution. Right? Here is a word problem. If the video cuts out, don't worry about it. I don't really care if y'all learn the word problems yet. We'll get to them eventually, but we'll give it a try. All right. Speed is distance over time. But here, they're really using velocity because it's a hot air balloon that's going up. The word problem says, You're descending in a hot air balloon. You descend 500 feet in 40 seconds. What is your velocity? We sing substitute and put 500 in for displacement, 40 in for time, and our answer is negative 12.5. So that means that's how many feet per second we're going down. And if we have time, I'll tell you a story about that at the end. Okay, the next one is the idea of domain and range. Domain is what x can be, and range is what y can be. And we'll talk more about this later when we do graphs. But for now, just know domain is what x can be. And looking at this problem, x cannot equal 1. Because if x is 1, it would be 1 minus 1, which would put 0 in the denominator, and that's not allowed. So the domain of this problem is all real numbers except x does not equal 1. All real, but x does not equal 1 is the domain. And we'll talk later about what the range is. Oh, so I can't tell you my story about dead science teacher. When I started teaching science, I was trying to teach the Greek kids speed equals distance over time. I said, how can we remember this? And I had this huge kid in the front row say, dead science teacher. I thought this is going to be harder than I thought. Math is fun. See you later.